MHMR of Tarrant County works in collaboration with local law enforcement and area hospitals to maintain a safe environment for those in need of mental health treatment.
MHMR of Tarrant County is involved in the commitment process from the beginning to the end.
In Tarrant County, typically involuntary patients arrive at the Psychiatric Emergency Center in two different ways. The majority of the time they come in on an application for detention, which is initiated by the local police department. The second way is usually what's called a mental health warrant or a magistrate's warrant. And those are done by the family coming in, meeting with the mental health warrant specialist, and at that time he helps them complete the application form and composes a letter that goes to the magistrate judge.
The role of the magistrate in the commitment process includes having an interview with the parties that make an application for a commitment to a family member. We have the authority to make the decision of issuing a warrant to have them picked up and brought to the hospital.
MHMR of Tarrant County dedicates one full-time staff person to the John Peter Smith Hospital Psychiatric Emergency Center to provide continuity of care between outpatient MHMR clinics and the inpatient setting.
When a patient comes in that's been established in MHMR, we think they have a history of MHMR, we can use him to contact the MHMR clinic and get some history about medication, their past treatment, all the past psychiatric history.
When we started the psych emergency room about 10 years ago, we were seeing about 5,000 patients per year. We're currently over 14,000 patients per year that we see. Approximately 4,000 per year are brought on an emergency order of detention. In terms of volume, the John Peter Smith Hospital has the facilities to really treat more effectively these patients who are, I would say, a bit more out of control of their own life.
I just had some questions about my mental health. I wasn't, expecting to be hospitalized. It was just very rough being 36 years old and always working, and now I've got this mental illness. Everything just kind of went down the hill, and I've been to almost every hospital.
If the patient is really quite ill, we'll institute a court hearing.
If the physician determines further treatment is needed, a certificate of medical examination will be completed and sent to the judge for review. If the judge sees the need for treatment, he will grant an order of protective custody, set a court date, and assign an attorney to the proposed patient.
When we're reviewing a certificate of medical examination, I think the primary thing we're looking for is specificity. It really is getting to that point that we understand that their behavior is a true manifestation of the behavior that tells us they need to remain in custody.
The law requires that the local mental health authority file a report. It's an alternate treatment recommendation.
This is a report that goes through 5 different areas of the client's behaviors.
I use the ATR in last-minute preparation for court, but also I use it at trial.
The court liaisons will attend the court hearing, should there be any questions that the judges need to ask at that time, and we make a recommendation for what we feel is the treatment that's in the best interest of the patient.
I go before a judge, and they ask me some questions, and then they decide whether or not I needed to be at the state hospital.
The burden's on the state. The state has the burden to prove that the proposed patient has to be at the hospital for one reason or another. And constitutional cases have said that just because a person's insane or acting bizarre or acting in a way that we don't normally find normal, that we don't see as normal or average, we can't hold them against their will at the hospital.
At the commitment hearings, the state's burden of proof is that, obviously, to prove the person has a mental illness, has committed recent behaviors that tend to show the person is a danger to themselves or to others, or that they're not able to adequately care for themselves.
Occasionally our clients will tell us that they want to get out of here regardless of what is necessary to do so. And that's a difficult place in which we find ourselves on occasion. It forces the lawyer to zealously represent his client when that's often not the best thing for the person.
I weigh the evidence and hopefully I hear what both sides say, but if the state hadn't met that burden, then I release the patient.
Once the state has met that burden and we've heard from the doctors what the treatment plan is, we'll very often look to see what else might be able to happen within that period of the commitment. We'll look for what kind of progress might be made.
You have to really be pretty bad off to get court committed. And I was very suicidal. I just didn't want to live.
If the judge determines it's in the client's best interest to receive long-term care, the client will be transferred to the North Texas State Hospital Wichita Falls campus via the mental health deputies.
About 31% of all the admissions to North Texas State Hospital come from Tarrant County, Texas. And that makes Tarrant County the very biggest player that we deal with. Tarrant County utilizes beds at North Texas State Hospital primarily for patients who are not looking for short-term stays.
It was a blessing that they took care of me for those 3 months, even though I was fighting it.
If a client is committed to the North Texas State Hospital Wichita Falls campus, we do have aftercare staff that are involved in every step of that process. We actually have a aftercare specialist who lives in Wichita Falls and offices right there on their campus.
The aftercare specialist from Tarrant County that works basically on campus visits all the treatment teams that are in contact with all the patients from Tarrant County. She has an important role to play as far as determining what kind of treatment each patient's going to need once they leave here.
In addition, we have local aftercare specialists who then in turn help link the patient back into the community. When a person is discharged from the state hospital, they come right from the North Texas State Hospital campus directly to the clinic of their choice. When they are there, they will meet with clinic staff. They will become familiarized with the clinic that they are going to.
The civil commitment process brings us face to face on a daily basis with life-threatening situations, and that's from the time of the warrant application through the discharge from the state hospital. These situations must be resolved to ensure the safety of the mentally ill individual and the safety of the community. A sense of partnership and collaboration among the key stakeholders in Tarrant County is a major factor in achieving positive outcomes for all involved.
You feel like you can trust them here. I wouldn't be alive right now if MHMR didn't step in.